Yeah, so we grew up on the Knox County and Laurel line. My grandfolks had a tobacco farm and cattle farm over there off of Ola Road. So yes, we're from here. We used to bring our backer into London, and that's where my grandfather had sold it. Just wanting to be home. Yeah, coming into the city growing up, when you would sell our backers, this was the biggest town in the world to me. I mean, if you lived in southeast Kentucky, London, it was like that's a big town. You know what I mean? Uh, so that's what it was. Coming here, I fell in love with it as a kid, and just it's something one of them things. I don't care how far you go, it's just home. Laurel County is just home, and London is Laurel County. So my father was in the military. He got out of the military to come home. He raised us, me and my older sisters. My mother, her family lived out on off Roller Road, like I said, and they had the farm. They were out of Harlan County, and my dad was a roofer until he got disabled, and he wasn't no longer able to work. So, you know, we lived in a 4 bedroom shack and had an old stove in it until I was 16 years old, right roughly that age. And then we finally got central heat and air because we wound up moving into a home that had it. And man, I thought it was just the best thing since sliced bread. And I'm not old. That's the thing. People hear my story and they think, you know, God, how old is this dude? I'm 40 years old. You know, I mean, there's people still living like that here. That's the sad part about it. And but anyway, you know, so Dad pretty much raised us. My mom, she had married another man. We did go around, and of course, I seen her and stuff. But then I wound up meeting my wife in high school. We were married young because we wound up having our daughter Alexis, and then our son Nicholas. And then we that's when we decided to move away because I was working 3 jobs. And after that, we got up to Indianapolis, and I was blessed to work with a great company, FedEx, and I still love that company to this day. And you know, they really allowed me to go far in life. And then we moved back down to Lexington, and my wife got pregnant with our son Christian, and we wound up losing Christian. It was a hard time for us. Um, Probably one of the hardest things we ever went through, losing our son. And then we wound up getting pregnant again, and then we had our son Lucas, and he's been the joy of our family. Of course, he's spoilt rotten, and he's 4 years old. So, and now being back home, it's just finally I have peace because this is the place I love. I could live anywhere in the world, anywhere I wanted to, but I chose here because this is my family. This you don't you go into a gas station and get called sweetie or honey. You know, this is you go a lot of other places, there's no respect, but here you find it. And some of my richest friends, they come here and I'm like, I get it. I get why you want to live here now. When they used to say, why in the world would you want to be there? Spend 5 minutes in Laurel County. Really get to know the people here. You'll see why. Some of the best people on earth live right here in southeast Kentucky. The reason for running for mayor is me and my wife leaving here and then returning back home. I've noticed that there's not a lot of economical change here in Laurel County and London. So seeing that when I get back home, that you know I had to leave here because we were poor growing up, and unfortunately, to do anything with your life, you have to leave here. I want to stop that. I want to make it to where kids have a chance that they can stay home, they can run a business, or they can have a job to where they can sustain their family. You know, 86% of Laurel County is in poverty. The per capita of the homes here at 86% is $24,000 a year. So we need some economical growth, and the infrastructure's in the city, So that's why I'm running for mayor of London, because I have faith in this city, I have faith in this county, and I want to see growth. So the young people, we're going to start on the high school level. We want to start doing some mentorships for with local businesses. I want to be able to have the kids to understand they have the opportunity to do what I did, because I'm truly living the American dream. I left home, came back a millionaire, and nothing was handed to me. I did it through hard work. Not saying I didn't have mentors along the way. That's why when we win this election, I'm going to have it to where the high school students can come in and they can sit in the mayor's office for a week, if that's what they so choose. Or maybe they want to be work in a garage. Let our local shops down here, let them come in and mentor for a week. Just decide if that's what they want to do. But if anything else, inspire hope. Because I think a true leader, that's what we do. We inspire others to be stronger and better. And so the youth, me and my wife, we have worked with Somerset Community College, and we're working with another university to get them down here as well. And I want to inspire these kids to go on, that they don't have to be what they see at home. They can be much, much more. And so that's some of what we're wanting to do with the youth. Of course, we want to bring back to where the kids can play sports. They don't have to go to Knoxville. They don't have to go to Lexington. I want to see the ball fields being used and be actively used with the church programs here, and more importantly, the schools. So that's an important subject for us as well. So it's pretty much like my last question, one of the last questions you had asked, economical growth. So London's growing, and it's great to see a county and a city that we love grow like it has. But again, there is an economical growth. So I tell people there is a good growth and a bad growth. We're not either one of them yet. We're growing, but when I lived here before, I'll give you a prime example. When I lived here before, time I paid my bills and bought my groceries, I had $20 to do me. I can't afford Kohl's. It didn't matter that they have whatever the retail shop they have, I can't. We have a lot of businesses on Main Street. 86% of Laurel County cannot afford to shop there. We want to shop local. We want to be able to provide good growth for the small business owners. So we have to set an industry here. Jobs are going to have to start paying better. And when it comes to local jobs, you take the mom and pop shop, they can't afford to pay $20 an hour. That's where we need industry. We need to create an industry here to where people are making better wages, so we can have the economical growth to where our mom and pop shops can stay alive and their stores can thrive. Or that small boutique on Main Street now has more customers, because it ain't 80%, 86% of Laurel County. Now it's maybe 40% of Laurel County. And that's where we're going to see it. And that's where we're going to see the sustainability. And that's why we want to inspire the big industries to come and look at London, because this is the place to be. So me and my wife first started out. We took our and we got into real estate. Soon decided that ain't all I wanted to do. We took our life savings and launched a trucking company with a reverse logistics side. So reverse logistics, a lot of people don't know what that is, so I want to explain that a little bit. We asset control for some of the largest retailers in the United States and Europe. So we basically take their assets or any of their maybe overstock is the best way to explain it, and we distribute that throughout the United States or Europe or Canada. So that's basically in a nutshell what we do. And off of that, we have built 6 great companies, 2 of them being international companies, and they're thriving. This past year, I semi-retired out of them, and I'll take my full retirement in 2022. But yeah, so they're doing really good. So, as a mayor, obviously it's hard for me to really help the people obtain better income on a senior level because that's all federal. But what we can do is inspire hope, and we can have senior programs that help assist feed them, which me and my wife have been heavily involved here in Laurel County since 2018. We want to make sure that the seniors have food, especially the seniors in the city of London. I think that we could do better about how we're feeding our seniors. When you have a vast majority that has to choose between food and their medicine, they're going to take their medicine. So I want to be proactive, and I also want to inspire other young citizens in the town of London to get involved in those programs, because our seniors are important. But I also want to focus on getting them a place to where they can do track. There's grants for this stuff, that they can have a swimming pool. We need this stuff in this town. The seniors need it. They need indoor. They need something that if it is raining or if it is snowing, that they can go and be active and meet with their friends, socialize. Because we all know being social is very important. We've learned it through this pandemic. We've all been starving for that friend or just people we ain't seen in years. So that's what we want to do with our seniors. We want to be able to ensure, first of all, they're getting the adequate food that they need, and then I want a senior citizen center here where they can be active. The only issues I really see within them is their lack of equipment. There's a lot of things our first responders in the city need, and that we want to help ensure that they get. The biggest part of infrastructure is our emergency services, and industry looks at that. It's important that we have the latest technologies and they have the best equipment that's out there so they can better the city. And again, industry is going to look at that. That's one of the things that they take a hard look at, is what emergency services we can provide and are they up to date. And that's what we want to make sure, that they have adequate funding to ensure that they have all the equipment necessary. And we absolutely love our first responders. Me and my wife have done a lot of work as private citizens, funding them, trying our best to help as many as possible. But I know that within just the county itself, so many fire departments are in need. And it's important too, to where the people in the city and the county get involved, donate to them, because these people, when we're in trouble, that's the ones that's come running. And fortunately, we have some of the best men and women, especially in their police departments, and even the fire departments, the county fire departments. They're just great. And something I'd like to bring light on, I know it has nothing to do with this mayor race, but I would like to bring light on, is our volunteer firefighters in the county. They get no attention, and these guys are doing it for free. And we have volunteers here at the city or London PD too, and they're not the PD but the fire department, that they get no attention. And these guys are volunteering. They have mad respect. They should have mad respect from all of us. But support your fire departments and your police department folks. They're an asset to our community. The tourism, I know the good thing about the city of London, we have multiple boards that was created to help, in those areas. And we do have a tourism board. And I want to be proactive with them, giving them my ideals to ensure that we are going forward in the tourism. One, selling London for what London is. We do have a lot of great things in this county that I think are just sold short. They're not. We have Laurel Lake, which gets no attention, and then working on the things that is here. So as a community that we're selling, but also being creative and using the young mind that we have here. There's so many young people that I talk to here. They're just geniuses, and their ideals get overlooked. I think that we need to stop listening to the politics here and start listening to the people that live here. Because for my 3 or 4 months of now sitting down with over 500 people, you all these great bright ideals that are to sell London, they're not being heard. And we're foolish to think that Randall Weddle can build the city of London this great things. It takes all of us. But we as a city, we sell ourselves. That's the tourism. We sell our ingenuity, our ideals of all these young people that's here and old people. But restoring the ideals back to the people and letting them sell London is the greatest tourism that we'll have. It goes back to economical growth. I can't say that enough. I probably said that so much in the last 3 or 4 months. It's economical growth. It is sad that you cannot raise a family here. Some do, and kudos to them. But there's a lot that can't. And one thing that's frustrating to me is we can sit and complain about the druggies and the issues that we have here, but some of it is created by the people that's supposed to be leading us. And that's frustrating to me. We cannot, if there is no hope, then what's the point? But as a leader of our community, we have to inspire hope. And industry is the way to go. We should have had industry here. For whatever the reason, I'm not getting into the negative parts of that, but we need it here. And I'm going to be the first one that will be knocking on every main industry door to say, come look at London. No, I do not. My objective is not to come into any business that I buy or we purchase and try to create a situation where I'm having to look for employment and not fixing the issues at hand. So we will not be laying anybody off. We will not be firing anybody. That will not be on our intentions. My focus will be on the citizens of this city. I will say this: if you're doing your job, you have no worries. If you're not doing your job, then you have some problems. But that's just how life goes. But that is not our intentions. We did hire some local police officers within our company. Um, when me and my wife moved down here, we had bought some property out in Keevity, and we still have security out there because we have a lot of heavy equipment and stuff like that. But the officers that we hired within is, I find, some of the most trustworthy people are in law enforcement or ex-military. Their work ethics are outstanding. So that's just so happened who we hired within our companies. It had nothing to do with security or where they came from. This is what I would like to make clear out of this whole entire video. And if I could get one message across, people's asking, why is this guy campaigning in the county? I was a county kid and I grew up in the county, and we were not involved in the city politics. That's an issue, because without this city, this county is never going to grow. It's time for the people of Laurel County to get involved in the city politics if we ever want change. I'm the only man that's running that's given up his salary. I can guarantee you no one else does that. I'm the only man that is self-made. I've made my money, and I have no other reason to run this, that I generally love this place. There's a lot that's going to claim they love it. And I'm sure there's some that's going to run that says they're doing it for pure intentions. If they are, I ask them to give up your salary and do it with a pure heart. If it's really about this city, then give up your salary. Because that, to me, says everything. A man or a woman that's willing to give up their pay to say, I'm willing to see the betterment of this city, that's pureness to me. It's time that the county gets involved in the local politics here. It's time that the city people stop voting for their buddies, stop voting for the clique, and start voting for the person that's really... God, that word just went out my mind.
I've been there.
You're going to have to do a lot of editing there.
This is nothing.
You've actually done so good.
Yeah, it's really is. It's just time that we get rid of the old system, the old way that we were doing things in this area. It's what's held us back. Look around us at the cities and the towns that's going on around us right now. We're being left behind. We got to stop. Just because you know somebody doesn't mean they're fit to be your mayor. Just because you grew up with them and you lived on First Street and they lived on First Street doesn't mean they can run this city. And I'm going to be honest with you. If they've been involved in the politics here, would you not say they're part of the problem? I would. It's time that we start taking control of where we live locally. It has to be equally as important as it does the federal elections, because here is where we really feel the impact of electing bad figures in our leadership here. I believe we have a lot of great and fine people that run and that's held offices here, but I also believe that we're ready for a change. And I think we've neglected the youth in this county, in this city. Their voices have not been heard. And like I said before, there's so many good, great minds that the ingenuity here is crazy. The ideals that just don't get heard. And I believe it's time that they start having a voice in the city. And another thing is, in the mayor's office, that door will always be open to everybody. I don't care who you are, how much money you have. I don't care your status. There will be no click system inside my administration. I want the poorest person in this city feel like they can come into my office and say, Mayor, I don't like that. Why did you do that? Or Mayor, I need some help. That's what it's about. And that's what I believe that people will see as this race goes on even further. Who is truly doing it for pure intentions, and for those who's doing it for self-gain. My vision is I don't want to be a career politician. I'm not a good politician at all. I've had we've all got to see what politicians do. My vision is to break the politics here. This race is really not about me as much as it is about the people. Everybody in this county and everybody in this city, if they sit there and they thought for 5 minutes and said, my God, the same people have had their hands in control in this place. You have the opportunity to break that. The outside guy, the poor kid coming in and winning the election, it breaks all the other standards. Everything that people, and I hope that it inspires the young people to run for office, because that's what we need. The future is that no man controls this city, or not one person, or not one family, or not 4 families. That it's the peoples that's controlling the growth of this city. That's my vision, to see people prosper and us being led forward, not being held back because of buddies or a bad business deal or businessmen, but we're led forward by truth and honesty. And that's what we need to restore here. That and it's not Randall Weddle saying this, it's the people in this county saying this. When I first told some people I was going to run for office, they said, probably won't win. Nobody knows you here. And, they were just being brutally honest. Nobody knows you here, and, there's certain people that control it. And I said, yeah, but, one thing I know is that people also are sick of the same old, same old. We got to talking to people, and, 3 or 4 months, you hear it every day, and every meeting that I have, I'm sick of the same old, same old. I'm sick of the people that's been holding us back. So that's part of our campaign. We started, the vision is to see that the county people are involved in the city politics. Because everything in the city is affecting us in the county. I don't care where part of the county you live in, you're being affected by this city. So I want to see a city that cares about its youth, that we don't leave our grassroots of the church, because the church is important too, but yet at the same time we have growth and we're moving beyond the boundaries we're at right now. A prosperous city will be a good city. I think if anything, I hope to inspire people to get out and vote.
Mhm.
Let's change this place. If we don't change London and Laurel County, Corbin, Somerset's going to leave us behind. We're going to become their suburbs. And if you truly love Laurel County and you live here and you're sick of your kids, or and if you live in the city of limits especially, I mean, because you're the ones that can vote for me, let's change this. The ones that's been in office, they've been there. They've had their chance. Let's change this. It's now. Now's the time. You know, there's a lot of moving parts, but we've got to start now. We can't wait another 8 years to try to get this to happen. And, you know, I know my abilities and I know what I've built. And this city is a business and it needs to be ran like a business. And that's what we want to do.